Hello, and welcome back to the channel, Becoming Mexican. Or if you haven't been here before, welcome. So, what am I doing today? Normally I'm out in the park, doing my normal ramblings, but today I'm going to be trying some things, comparing different salsas and generally salsa roja, the red salsas, but the ones you generally buy in the supermarket. So, bear with me. I may be suffering by the end of the 10 salsas that I've chosen. So, enjoy. So, here we go. So here we are with the 10 culprits. 10 salsas of varying heat. Whenever you see us on the back of a bottle of salsa where it says mild, always be a little wary, because when they say mild in Mexico, it does not exactly mean the same as mild in Britain. So, the first one that you can see, La Viuda Negra, the Black Widow. This is a last-minute replacement, a last-minute substitution, I guess, due to the fact of injury to the bottle of Valentina, which I've unfortunately dropped. So, maybe a similar flavor, taste profile, heat for that matter. Then we have Cholula. So Cholula, despite its name, it doesn't come from the state of Puebla. It comes actually from Chapala in Jalisco. And now it's not Mexican owned as it always used to be, but is now owned by McCormick's, who bought the brand for I think it was something like $800 million. So, on to the next. We have Buffalo, which is like an everyday salsa. Looks a little darker than the rest. When you see something darker, always be a little bit wary. But then again, you might be surprised by a little bit of its mildness. Then we get on to the brand Sachila, who make a nice range of salsas. Some mild, everyday, not that hot. Then again, some are. This is a creamy chipotle sauce. Then, Bayer. I don't know this sauce. This is one I came across in the supermarket and have no idea what it's like. Although it says picante, so it could well be hotter than I was expecting. It does actually say picor extremo, sorry. So, extreme heat. And it does have a 4 out of 5 chili heat rating. Now we get on to a couple of more artisanal salsas. Tlali, which is one with lemon, or lime rather. That should make it a little less hot, but I like the bottle, I like the name of the brand, so let's see what this one is like. Now we get on to Roja Jamaica. Salsa de Jamaica. Jamaica is the flower hibiscus and is used very much in many drinks here in Mexico. It's a very refreshing drink. And I don't know what this one is going to be like. Another of those artisanal ones. Let's see what it's like. Now, let's get on to Salsa Morita. This is one I picked up in the local shop. Very dark red. Morita is a hotter chili. Sometimes more the dried kind of chili. What it's like, I'm not sure, but always when you get ones from the local local store, made by somebody local, it's not going to be like the normal kind. Now, Mexico Lindo. They make a lovely range of salsas. This one is called Siete Mares, 7 Seas, and is made with chili de arbol. They can be green or red when they're fresh, or when dried, generally red. And although they're not the hottest of chilies, according to the scale of heat that chilies have, our bowl can be a little bit surprising. Now, on to our last our last salsa. La Anita, make a nice range of salsas. This one, to finish things off, is an habanero. Habanero Pacifico. Well, habanero can have a nice surprising effect, and I generally don't buy habanero salsas. But let's see. Here we go. Normally people get tortilla chips for salsa, but I've gone a little more traditional and have gone for some tostadas. Those dried or fried, depending on where you get them from. These are a normal everyday brand that you get, La Milpa, I think the brand is. And it's basically a crunchy tortilla made into a little snacky thing. Great for making tostadas con camarones or whatever you happen to go for. And rather tasty as a little snack on their own. So let's go for these with the salsas. So here we go. Okay, enjoy watching my suffering. So I'm prepared with a little glass of beer. Well, why not? I do have 10 salsas to go through. So cheers. It's only Ducati, but there you go. Quite nice. Should work well with the heat of the salsas. Oh, let's see. So, let's go on to the first one. La Viuda. There's a not so pungent smell. Well, as much of a smell you can get from a little hole in the top of the bottle, but there's a kind of fruitiness to it. Let's put a little on this tostada. Actually, it comes out relatively thickly, so there's a good consistency to it. So, here we go. This is quite fruity. A little sweetness to it. Not that hot. Although you get a little bit of spice at the back of the tongue, which kind of eventually fills the mouth. Let me show you it. Here we go. There we go. Kind of nice, not bright red, but an orangey red. A nice one to kick off things. Generally we use this, I think, in cocktail de Cameron. Oh, there's a little bit of heat. The Mexican prawn cocktail. And it's really good. It's great with prawns. It brings out a lot of nice flavors. That's a nice one. Actually, I picked this up in the local butcher's. Hadn't seen it for a little while. Now you're getting this nice plastic bottle. So unlike the Valentina, which this is the last minute substitute, that plastic bottle does beat the glass one, especially the large glass bottle that Valentina comes in. Well, that didn't make a mess on the kitchen floor. Okay, let's go for number 2, Cholula. I love this. The labeling is wonderful. Sadly, it's owned by Americans, but there you go. But I like the fact that it's in this, and always has been in this cute bottle with the wooden stopper. This is the original version. Nowadays there's a whole range that McCormick's now produce. But I like the fact there's this wooden stopper, which now is screw top, but very nice. Slightly fruitier in aroma than the Buda, but it's a nice one. It is one of my favourites, and again, great in a cocktail de Cameron, or in general on whatever you happen to put it in. Potato chips, which seems to be a thing here in Mexico, as well as popcorn. People tend to put this stuff, and Valentina, on popcorn. So let's put some on a chip, well, a tostada. Again, slightly, there's a nice thickness to it, but rather more redness to it, as you can see. So much fruitier. Oh, that's wonderful. For those who are just getting into salsa and are not really used to that much heat, this is a good introduction. Although it says hot sauce, it isn't really that hot. Well, that depends on your viewpoint of heat. Maybe I'm becoming more Mexican, as my channel says. Oh, I think a little bit more of that. As you can see, being a bit of a salsa wimp, I'm only putting little bits on, whereas Mexicans tend to put a little bit more. I always remember being with a group of Mexicans at the Birmingham University on a trip to Cambridge, I think it was, and I remember seeing a bottle of Tabasco sauce disappear in about 5 minutes. I just put a couple of drops on, but most just poured on a quarter of a bottle, I think. Anyway, let's go for a little bit more. Yep. A nice fruitiness. A little bit of a hit at the back of the throat, but nothing you could say that is unpleasant with it. I do like that one. It is one of my favourite salsas, I must say. So, let's get on to buffalo. I'm not sure why it's called buffalo. Maybe it goes with those wings that are very famous and popular these days. Although I do wonder, if buffaloes had wings, I'd be very worried. Anyway, it's quite an interesting shaped bottle. Quite characteristic and very different to the others. It's also much darker. When something is much darker red, generally that's a little bit more of a warning sign, rather like seeing a culebra and seeing its various stripes and going, oops, I'm not going near that thing. So, let's give this a whirl, shall we? Oh, thinner. It's quite a thin sauce. Yeah, quite thin, kind of rolls over the piece of tostada. So, what's it like taste-wise? As you can see, a little bit thinner. Doesn't have that consistency to grip the tostada. So, here we go. Well, that's much more pungent. That kind of hits you and says, I'm here. Only the flavour. In terms of heat, as my late father-in-law would say, that's for babies. And really, yeah, it isn't that much compared to Labiuda. Labiuda is much hotter. This just has a pungency of flavor, but not of heat. Yeah. I guess you could use that as cooking sauce. Just add a little bit of pep to something. But in general, let's have another slurp. Dark, but let's see. Well, that's quite unimpressive as salsas go. Amazing how when you see a package and go, oh, that looks good, the content doesn't always match up to the package or label, for that matter. I'd maybe give that a 2 out of 5, if that. Oh, there is a nice aftertaste. There's a kind of smokiness. Anyway, so far so good. I'm still alive. Okay, on to the next. Number 4. Sashila. I think that's how you pronounce it. Their creamy chipotle sauce. I like the ones that they produce. They're quite individual flavors. And I love chipotle. Chipotle mixed with mayonnaise is always a very nice mixture to go with salmon, tuna, whatever. But let's give this a whirl. So, yeah, thick, comes out nicely. But how does it taste? It is creamy. Very nice. A nice smokiness from the chipotle. Pardon me, that was just a crumb, not the salsa. Also a nice hint of garlic. It's rather nice. Ideal to put serve with chicken. Again, salmon would go very well with this sauce, more than just like a snack sauce. But yeah, you could just have this with some chips. It would be very nice. So let's have a little bit more. As you can see, pretty thick consistency. It's a nicely made salsa. It's a smaller brand, although you see it a lot in convenience stores and many supermarkets, but generally 7-Eleven sell this. And 7-Eleven also sells some very different things, unusual things, but let's have another go with this one. As you can see, nice, sticks to the tostada very well. Quite a complex flavor, full of nice flavors. The creaminess, that kind of balances out the heat. It makes it very mild. So far, this is maybe the mildest of the 4. And like with the other ones I mentioned, if you're just beginning with hot sauces, salsas and you want one that is not going to blow your brains out and make you need toilet paper to be kept in the fridge, then I would say this is maybe a good starting point. Probably more of a starting point than the other three that we've looked at. I should have started things off with this, I guess. Anyway. Okay, number 5. Yaya. I don't know this one. First time I've seen it, but I always like nice packaging, and I love the shape of the bottle is rather nice. The colour of the salsa is rather like the buffalo. I'm not quite sure if it's going to be the same as the buffalo, as it does say on the label, Pico Extremo. Extremo or Extremo? Extremo, sorry. Small lettering. And age coming into play there. Out of 5 flames, it's showing 4. Oh dear, I wonder what this one's going to be like. Okay, bear with me while I put some on a bit of tostada. Here we go. Once I get the bit of tostada, here we go. So, what's the consistency like? Oh, wow. Now that is much thicker than the others. It is also rather dark. This is like Mexican HP, Mexican brown sauce. It has the same colour as HP sauce. One of my favourite sauces. Oh dear, let's have a go. Oh, that is a stronger, darker aroma. There seems to be a kind of smokiness to it. I'm not sure which chilies are used in this. Let's find out. That surprised me. 4 out of 5 flames. They were lying. That is lovely. Really is a nice salsa. In terms of flavour, I would say that's the best of the ones I've tried so far. If I'm making an English breakfast, I think I'll use this instead of HP sauce. It has a nice balance. Oh, that's lovely. Let's try a little bit more. I do like that one. Oh, there's a bit of the heat. The back of the tongue. Lovely. Lovely feeling in the mouth after that one. That one. Ooh. Then again, that's a sneaky sauce. Ooh. I can feel my forehead tingling a little bit with that one. Oh dear. That, as I say, sneaks up on you. Ooh. A second test really does sort out the flavour. Ooh. Now my tongue is tingling. Time for a little bit of beer. Oh, that's better. better than using milk. Oh, sorry about that. Time for number 6. Slali. I'm not sure what it means, but it's very Nahuatl in its spelling. I need to check what it means using good old Google. Sorry about that. The heat's just got to me. So, this is salsa con limon. Sauce with a touch of lime. Hope the touch is... I'm not sure how big the touch of lime is. Let's find out. So. Ooh. Oh, the lime just hits you. Oh, very pleasant smell. But at the back there is a little extra heat. The chilies coming through there. Ooh. We are going up on the scale of salsas, so let's give this one a go. Ooh, quite thin, quite orangey in colour. Yeah, it's a very thin kind of sauce. So, let's see how it is. Not sure if it's habanero in there. Certainly lime comes through a lot. Maybe a hint of pepper. Sorry about that, a little bit of tostada flew off. Oh! Oh, that is nice. The lime just balances it. It cuts out any heat. But yeah, that is good. That is a nice one. A little touch more. That is really good. You could use that as a glaze with salmon. That would be a perfect accompaniment to many meats, especially salmon. Be pretty good with chicharron as well. Oh, that is nice. That surprised me. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting a little more punch. But really, that's a lovely one. Highly recommended. I'd give that a 4 out of 5, I think. Okay, here we are with number 7. Another artisanal salsa. And another of the brands like Tlali that I wasn't familiar with. So, here we are. Jamaica. Salsa de Jamaica. Now, Jamaica is really popular in, as I've mentioned, in drinks. It's the flower hibiscus. And hibiscus you find in most herbal teas, fruit teas, etc. But here, it's used more as a drink. Very refreshing drink too, especially in the heat like today of the mid-30s. But I like to make a pre-Hispanic dish with chili, Jamaica, and it's really quite hot, but there's a sweetness to it too. So I wonder, does this salsa have the kind of sweetness that comes from Jamaica? Jamaica can be very sour, and you need a lot of sugar to get something from it. But Let's see. Is this sugared or is it more natural Jamaica? Let's try. Here we go. Again, like Buffalo and Yaya, quite dark. And as I've said before, normally very dark red means danger. But so far, dark red has kind of meant rather mild. Let's go and give this one a whirl, shall we? So, let's see consistency. Oh, that's a good thickness to it. Again, like the Yaya, it's a bit like HB sauce in its brownness. We have where's the kind of smokiness to the aroma? Not as much aroma as the other salsas, but how is it for taste? That. Oh. You really do taste the Jamaica. There's a little bit of sourness. A bit of saltiness in there as well. Probably to balance out the sweetness of the sugar and the sourness of the Jamaica. But, that's rather interesting. That's interesting. Flavor is nice, though there isn't that much flavor to it. There's no pungency, no hit of chili. Well, in the first tasting, you don't really get a hit of chili like you do with the others. But let's try a second one. Maybe I didn't put enough on, which is my usual failing. I tend to wimp out sometimes. So, let's give it a whirl. And there is a nice sweetness there. Maybe it isn't really meant to be a chili sauce, purely based on Jamaica. But as salsas go, that was rather good. Again, that would go with some very nice things like probably prawns. That would go really nicely on a piece of salmon. Oh, that one I like. Maybe I should have started off with that one. But I would maybe give that a 3, as it's not really on the hot side. Okay, so we're on the last 3. And I think we're getting to a little hotter territory. Here we are. This one I picked up in the local corner shop. They're nice people in the corner shop, very pleasant. I get on very nicely with them. This is salsa Anita, so I think it's made by a lady in the local area called Anita. But it's a salsa morita. Morita is, I'm not sure which of the varieties it is in its dried form, but it's quite a dark chili, and It's generally used in most salsas, certainly used in moles. In terms of aroma, that is very pungent. That really does have a chili smell to it. And as I said, the ones that are dark red usually are ones that warn you, but so far we haven't had anything dangerous. Maybe until now. Let's have a go. So, how does it look consistency-wise? Oh, yeah. No. Thick to medium, I guess. Kind of medium thickness. Again, in a plastic bottle, in case you're clumsy like me and you may drop the bottle. So, Have I become numb to salsa over my many years living here? Quite pleasant. Not really hot, but a nice flavour. There's a kind of fruitiness to it. But you get a kind of smokiness from the salsa. There's a smoky feel. It fills the mouth nicely. Got a nice mouth feel to it. That's rather pleasant. Let's have a tiny bit more and see if that changes matters on the second tasting. I like that. That is a nice fruitiness. A very pleasant salsa. I was expecting something hotter, but really, that would be a nice everyday salsa for me. I would go with eggs. Yeah, go with eggs, potatoes. Oh, there it is. Now I get a little bit of heat. Not intense, but yeah, just at the back of the tongue. There's this little to it. Hard to describe heat when you go, but as you know, if you've experienced that kind of heat, that's nice. Oh, as you breathe in, that is nice. Oh, another good one. So far, so good. I think I've chosen some good salsas. Okay, time for the penultimate salsa. The brand Mexico Lindo. They make a good range. I think I remember seeing on the Tri channel, that great Irish bunch of lunatics, trying this one among many others. And this one is Siete Mares, the Seven Seas. So I have a feeling this one is maybe going to be one you could put with seafood. Maybe I'm misled by the name. You definitely smell the chili in there. But chili is a fruit, and chilies give off very fruitile notes. regardless of the size of the things, although most people don't notice that. But this, quite nice aroma. But how does it taste? Here we go. In terms of consistency, well, yeah, it has a reasonable thickness to it, as you can probably see. Again, one in a plastic bottle to save clumsiness. Only Cholula comes in a glass bottle. Well, Buffalo as well. So I'll try not to drop those. So, Oh, that's nice. Nice fruity notes. I was expecting a kind of big hit of salsa. Let me shake the bottle and see if that improves things or increases the heat. But there's a fruitiness to it. It's chili arbol, and those are pretty vicious little chilies. They're generally about this size, very thin, and they grow on almost everywhere. Rather like the chili de monte here in Nuevo Leon. They just grow anywhere. And these, that's nice. Let's try a little bit more, shall we? Again, not filling my bit of a tostada, so. I do like that. That would be so good with seafood. Most definitely in a prawn cocktail and cocktail de Cameroon. Oh, yes. Very pleasant. I thought I was maybe going to die during the process of this video, during the heat. But I haven't really had that much heat so far. Let's see what number 10 brings. So, here we are with number 10. La Anita. I always thought that you could never put two A's together in Spanish. Like, we don't say la agua, we say el agua. But, like with English, there are always exceptions, like la Anagua and la Anita, not el Anita. I can never catch up with Spanish sometimes. So this is habanero. Habanero always scares people off. It certainly scares me off sometimes. But maybe I'm totally misreading what habanero is all about. So this one says that it's with red habaneros. You can also get green ones and orange ones. Occasionally I'll get orange ones, and they can make a dish very nice. But what is this one all about? Let's find out. So, oh, that has a real fruit aroma. Well, after all, chili is a fruit. Oh, it's very inviting. Let's see how the flavor goes. So, here we go. One last time with a bottle of salsa. There's a nice thickness to it. Should I be wary, or should I completely slather the piece of tostada with salsa? Let's start off carefully, shall we? So, there's a lovely colour to it, as you can see, lovely orange colour. There is a nice aroma coming from it, but what's the flavour like? Ooh. 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 Oh, that one is a good one to end things with. You get fruit bashing around your mouth, but the heat goes with this one. Ooh. Pardon me. Goes to the back of the throat. That is a good one to end things with. Oh, this is a builder. This is what they call a builder. In the beginning you go, well, that's rather nice. And then, sorry about this. Oh, yeah, bugger. Middle of the tongue is asking for a rescue party. And I'm glad I don't try one of the Carolina Reaper chili sauces. This one is far more sufficient than I'm used to. I can now feel that I'm sweating around the eyes. I think my eyeballs as well. But it is a nice flavour. It's just that it has a mild viciousness to it on the middle of the tongue. I wonder what... excuse me, I need something to clear things with. Oh, that's better. So, let's be stupid and have a little bit more. Though, well, a little bit less. It's making my teeth itch. Oh, dear me. Here we go. Sufferance for my audience. It was so fruity in the beginning. Oh, and then it gets you. Oh, you bugger. Sorry, just like let me wipe my eyeball. So, what can I say about my 10 salsas? All in all, quite impressed. Rather tasty, rather interesting flavours. Surprised by some being so fruity, some being... Sorry about that. Anita has got me. So surprised that they are full of very different flavours. The Jamaica one, I think, was the most interesting of all the flavours. It was one I would certainly use again, probably more for cooking, this one. And how did we finish? Anita finished me off, I think. Although not as much as I thought she would. But in general, Mexican salsas are pretty good. And these are just the red ones. Oh, my next video will be about the green salsas, and maybe those that you can just pick up from any place, anywhere, the local corner shop, totally unbranded, and you don't know what to expect. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed my descriptions of various salsas and enjoyed my suffering at the very end. So, thank you for watching. Come back soon. I will advise you whenever there is a new video coming on the channel, but if you would like to subscribe wherever that happens to be on the screen in YouTube, sign up and see what is coming. Thank you very much. Goodbye for now.